Welcome to the Today in History channel. In today's video we will talk about the day, January 3, 1993, signature of the START Treaty 2, beginning of nuclear disarmament, the excess of nuclear weapons that guaranteed mutual destruction, the economic effort that this entailed, and the risk of accidental war led the United States and the Soviet Union to limit the arms race since the 1960s, in the middle of the Cold War. It also influenced the convenience, from a propagandistic point of view, of each being more willing to disarmament than the rival, as well as the need to develop weapons that made part of the available ones unnecessary. In 1972, the talks on strategic weapons limits, SALT, began, which defined the SALT I agreements, essentially the ABM Treaty, by which they undertook not to develop anti-missile defenses, and SALT II, in 1979, by which limits were set for intercontinental ballistic missiles launched from land, ICBM, and sea, SLBM. On July 31, 1991, both superpowers signed the Strategic Weapons Reduction Treaty, START I, whereby the launched nuclear warheads were limited to 6,000, with a maximum of 1,600 intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, acronym in English, ballistic missiles launched by submarine, SLBMs, and bombers for each superpower, which represented the elimination of almost 80% of the strategic nuclear weapons existing at that time. In 1992, with the signing of the diplomatic agreement between Presidents Bush and Yeltsin, Russia should stop using and eliminating the multi-warhead SS-18 and SS-19 intercontinental missile launchers, considered the weapon of deterrence par excellence and the most feared by the United States because they could reach their territory. For its part, Washington would have multiple warhead missiles on submarines. Finally, on January 3, 1993, Russian President Boris Yeltsin and his American counterpart George H.W. Bush signed the START II Treaty. The United States Senate ratified it in January 1996. The Duma, lower house of the Russian parliament, on the contrary, blocked its ratification for several years, in protest for the U.S. military actions in Iraq and Kosovo, and for the extension of NATO to the countries of Eastern Europe. START II prohibited the use of multiple MIRV warheads in ICBMs, so that the maximum number of nuclear warheads was limited to 3,500 units for each party in 2000 or 2003, depending on the Russian economy. In all, about 15,000 nuclear warheads out of a total of 21,000 would be dismantled. The treaty would allow for a progressive reduction in the following 2 years, until restoring the levels of the 1960s. Like START I, the new agreement did not provide for the destruction of weapons, but of the missiles used for their launch. The Ukrainian parliament's delay in ratifying START I was a major obstacle to the implementation of START II. Over the years, the treaty has lost importance and both parties have lost interest in it. The United States wanted to modify the ABM Treaty to allow the development of a ballistic missile interception system, popularly known as Star Wars, which Russia was opposed to. In 2000, the Duma finally approved the treaty, taking a symbolic step to try to preserve the ABM Treaty, which the United States would not do. In 2002, Presidents George W. Bush and Vladimir Putin signed another treaty on strategic offensive reductions, SORT, in Moscow, which officially replaced START. If you like the video of a force subscribing to the channel, like, comment and share. To receive new videos, see you next time.